Hi guys, a little update on the Savannah Spurlock case, as David Sparks has been arrested for tampering with a corpse. The detectives have indicated that they have found blood, and the blood was found in David Sparks' bedroom. The lead detective investigating the death of Kentucky mother Savannah Spurlock testified Monday morning that her blood was found on a closet door in the bedroom of a man who faces several charges in connection with her disappearance. Who is David Sparks? He's 23 years old. He was arrested last week after Spurlock's remains were found. The detectives have indicated that they have found blood, and the blood was found in David Sparks' bedroom. The lead detective investigating the death of Kentucky mother Savannah Spurlock testified Monday morning that her blood was found on a closet door in the bedroom of a man who faces several charges in connection with her disappearance. Who is David Sparks? He's 23 years old. He was arrested last week after Spurlock's remains were found. "23-year-old David Sparks. The remains were found of Savannah in a shallow grave on the property of his parents in Garrett County home, court records show. Now, he has pleaded not guilty to charges of abuse of a corpse and tampering with physical evidence. No one has been charged with murder in this case so far. There was a hearing on Monday in Garrett District Court, Kentucky. Police Detective Ty Chavez detailed two pieces of evidence: a bloody sponge of Sparks' bedroom closet door and a gray accent rug buried with her remains that is believed to have come from his bedroom. Savannah's body was found just before midnight on July the 10th. After Sparks' father told his attorney earlier in the day he smelled a foul odor at his home in the 3100 block of Frolic Road. But before he called the police, he called a lawyer, and the lawyer advised him to call the police, the detectives. Chavez said the unclothed body was inside multiple black garbage bags that were at their deepest buried 19 15 inches down, though black plastic was visible above ground when investigators arrived. Well, you know, the father said he smelled a foul smell, and he called his lawyer up, and his lawyer advised him to call the police. I think the father may have gone to where the smell was and may have looked inside a little bit, because if they were buried and then the bags were visible above ground, either maybe the father moved them or the animals were getting into the bags. And he testified her body was found bound at the feet with tape in a unnatural position, with her body folded in half. They go on to say, you know, this David Sparks and two other men that were shown in the pictures of a surveillance leaving the bar. They left Lexington Bar with Savannah on the night she went missing in early January, which was the 4th. She left with 3 men, but 2 are in the surveillance. I don't know who the other one is. They also said, you know, they didn't know her. They didn't know Savannah before that night. They were interviewed by the police following her disappearance, but at that time, no charges were filed. Savannah and the men went to the home in the 100th block of Price Court, where David Sparks was living at the time. During the police interview, David Sparks said Savannah stayed in his bedroom where the 2 slept that night. I don't think so. She said she would be home. She FaceTimed her mother and said she would be home shortly. But now he said they spent the night in her bedroom. He said when he awoke mid-morning, he said Savannah asked for his address as if she was going to make arrangements to leave. And then after that, he said he fell back to sleep and awoke around noon, and she was gone. That afternoon, the same day, Savannah failed to come home. David Sparks then, he had sometime text his sister and said, "Hey, where did you get that rug? I'm going to get another one." And later that day, he went to Walmart and brought a gray rectangular rug. And this rug was seen on January the 10th in his bedroom when police searched his home. Well, when they searched his home, I don't think they did a very good job, because, you know, this was back in January, and they just searched it again just recently, last week, and found blood on the closet door. Yeah. Well, why couldn't they have found blood on the closet door the first time around? On April the 2nd, when investigators searched the home again and used a spray that indicates blood, the detective said, and they found a stain on the inside of a closet door in David Sparks' bedroom. And this blood, this DNA testing of the blood linked it to Savannah. Well, this was on April the 2nd. And her blood was found, her DNA. Well, it just proves that she was there. Well, we already know she was there. Willingly or against her will, but she was there inside the closet. Maybe she was trying to get away from him inside the closet. At this time, I assumed that the other guys had gone home or something. So I don't know. I think he was just alone with her at all times. The other guys must have gone home. I don't know if they were intentionally going to do something to her that night or not. It was a planned thing with all three of them. But things went wrong. Unless this guy does it a lot. Maybe he's done it before. Lured women. And if so, I hope some women come forward. I hope they come forward. If they have any traumatic things happen to them in his company. Because it doesn't sound like this is the first time he's done it. To me, it just sounds very suspicious, man. He probably has raped or done something like that before. But this time, poor Savannah ended up dead. So David Sparks' public defender, which is Matt Myers, does not know Savannah's cause of death. And of course, her cause of death has to be determined when Savannah died or when her body was buried in David Sparks' family property. Well, it's obvious that she was killed that night, unless she was held captive somewhere, tied up somewhere, maybe in the closet. Maybe she was bound and tied up because her feet were tied up, and she was also found naked. She had no clothes on. I don't think it says if she had her hands bound, but her feet were definitely taped up. So, why would he do that? you know, it sounds like he probably did something to her as soon as he got home. And she probably knew what was going to happen. So he has at least we've got somebody arrested right now, and he has lawyered up, and so he's not going to say much else now, and nor is his lawyer. The chance for the detectives to question him is over. And he has a public defender. And you know what? I just it's good that his father came forward and said there was a smell in his yard. And I don't know how many days that he'd been smelling this. I sure hope his father does not help him with anything. And I bet his father's ashamed of him. We're probably going to see what kind of person he is soon. What kind of nature this man has. Is he a predator? Is he? And who are these other two guys? Who are they? Do they team up together? We don't know what happened when these three men that Savannah left with. We don't know what happened. And I mean, she called her mother, FaceTimed her mother, and said she'd be home later. And of course, we know that she just had twins. She had twins, so you know, she wasn't feeling that great. You know, she's still recovering from the birth. But this man has taken her, alleged, but we know the truth. You know, you have to say alleged because, you know, he hasn't been charged with murder yet. Just tampering with a corpse. Sounds like the other case that we're following, little Malia. He hasn't been charged with murder, only tampering with a corpse. Well, now we know that he tampered with the corpse. You know, he must have moved the body, and he must have moved that body probably several times, and it wasn't a very deep grave, so it sounds like he had moved it and buried it very fast. But fancy, you know, taking it to your parents' home and burying it in their backyard. That's a smart one, isn't it? He's a smart boy. Idiot. But I'm glad he did. We are happy that he did, and her remains were found and brought home, so she is having a private funeral. And of course her mother said a thank you on Facebook and said thank you, you know, for your support and help, and to get the word to keeping her daughter's name alive, you know, looking for her, the missing, for the last 6 months. And she also said she was going to take her Facebook page down because she has been found. And then she probably wouldn't be speaking anymore about it yet. They just want some private time. You know how it is. But she was very thankful to everybody for spreading the word and never gave up on her daughter. Yeah. And it was very emotional. Very emotional. But there is a public visitation is set for Tuesday evening in Richmond, with a private funeral and burial to follow. So, you know, the parents of Savannah are very supportive in the public for all their support, and she's made the visitation public, so if people wanted to go, they can. But she'd like a private funeral, you know, to bury her daughter, and that she is actually able to lay her to rest. And I guess she didn't think it would be ever possible after so long, and that there is a little closure as Savannah has come home. Now, we'll keep up with this case. I don't know how long it's going to be before charges are upgraded. They're doing the autopsy, and in my opinion, I think that he has moved that body. He has moved her at some point. I don't know where he was keeping her, but obviously with tons of black garbage bags, he was obviously trying to disguise the smell. But he made a mistake, didn't he? He buried it in a very, very shallow grave in the backyard of his parents' home. Now, he didn't care about his parents, obviously. He didn't care. Or maybe he thought they wouldn't say nothing. Well, think again, boy, because your parents called the police, and you are now in jail, awaiting your next court date. And then once Savannah's autopsy has done and the results of her death come in, which hopefully they can find something, because we all know, I mean, it's been 6 months. She's badly decomposed, and well, we know it wasn't a natural death. She was tied up, folded in half, and that rug will be identified, and probably has already, because his sister bought the rug, and she will be able to identify it. And plus, you know, they've got the texts, I guess, him asking his sister where she got that rug for him from, because he wants to get another one, because, you know, he used that rug to maybe fold her up in it. But what made him, you know, kill her? Because she wanted to leave, and he wanted to have his evil way? Or did he plan it all along? Because there's something strange about him. I don't like him. But you know, stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned to this case. Let's have a discussion. Leave your comments, like, share, and sub to my channel. We love you. Because this man deserves to go to hell. And let's hope that he gets charged with first-degree murder. And thank you guys for stopping by.